Hello everyone. Now I am going to cover the concept of probability. What is a probability? Let us see. A probability is nothing but to know whether a particular event may happen or may not happen. Right? It can be defined as the mathematical measure of occurrence of an event. To know more clearly about the concept of probability, we need to know few of the basic concepts without which the understanding of the concept would not be very better to you, right? So we are going to now discuss few basic concepts of probability before we move on to the actual problematic part. Let us first see what is a random experiment. A random experiment. Suppose we toss a coin, right? We toss a coin. What happens? The result is whether the head may come up or a tail may come up. There are two possible outcomes. And the outcome is not certain, is not unique. Right? So here tossing is a trial or an experiment. Because the outcome is not unique, we say that the experiment is a random experiment. Similarly, suppose we throw a die. What happens? What is the result? Whether either we may get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. We have 6 possible outcomes. Here also, the outcome is not unique, is not certain. Again, throwing is here the experiment, throwing of the die is the experiment. And because the outcome is not unique or certain, we say that the experiment is a random experiment. So from the two examples I have given, tossing of a coin and throwing a die, we are clear that a random experiment is an experiment which is conducted repeatedly under identical conditions, giving any number of outcomes which are not unique or certain. Such experiments are called as random experiments, right? In the random experiments, each of the outcome can be called as an event, and the set of the possible outcomes can be called as sample space. So what is a sample space? The set of possible outcomes of a random experiment. And what is an event? It is the result or the outcome of any random experiment, right? So what is an event? It is the outcome or the result of any random experiment. The set of all the possible events, the set of all the possible outcomes of a random experiment is called as sample space, right? All the possible events constitute exhaustive events, right? In tossing a coin, coming up of head and tail constitute exhaustive set of events. Similarly, in throwing a die, the exhaustive events are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Right? The next definition we are going to see is about mutually exclusive events. About mutually exclusive events. Suppose the happening of an event excludes the happening of any one of the other events. I repeat once again. Suppose the happening of an event exclude the happening of any one of the other events in the random experiment. We say that the events of the experiment are mutually exclusive events. For example, in tossing a coin, right? In tossing a coin, coming up of head clearly avoids coming up of the tail, or getting the tail will avoid or exclude getting of the head. Therefore, in the random experiment of tossing a coin, getting of head and tail events are called as mutually exclusive events, right? Now let us see the other basic definition, equally likely events. Let us see what are equally likely events. Suppose that there is no reason for expecting an event rather than any one of the other events, right? Suppose that for expecting the outcome of an event there is no reason over the expectation of the other events of the same experiment. In such cases, we say that the two or more events of the random experiment are called as equally likely events. For example, when we draw a card from a pack of 52 cards, the events of 52 cards are equally likely because from 52 any one can be drawn at the same priority, right? The next definition let us see is about the classical definition of the probability. The next definition we are going to have is about the classical definition of probability, right? Suppose there are n number of mutually exclusive and likely events. There are n number of mutually exclusive and equally likely events, and E is one of the events of the random experiment. Also suppose that small m is the number of favorable events to the given event E. Then the probability of having the event E can be calculated as the probability of the event E equals to the number of favorable cases, the number of favorable events or favorable cases towards the event E by the total number of events in the random experiment. Because corresponding to the event E there are m favorable events. We have P of E is equal to small m by, there are total n possible outcomes of the random experiment. So we have n. So probability of E can be measured always using m upon n, where m is the number of favorable cases to the event E and n is the number of total number of events in the random experiment, right? Suppose E bar is the event which denotes the non-occurrence of the event E. Then this P of E bar equals to the number of cases which are not favorable to E by the total number of cases, right? Or otherwise we can also calculate it as 1 minus P of E. The reason is, when E is an event from the random experiment and E bar, if P of E is the probability of occurrence of E and P of E bar the probability of the non-occurrence of the E, it is always true that P of E plus P of E bar is equal to 1. And where? Because this m is always a non-negative integer and this n is a non-negative integer and m is a positive integer, and P of E plus P of E bar is equal to 1. Here we have the condition that each of these two probabilities, P of E bar, always belongs to the closed interval 0, 1, which can also be written as 0 less than or equal to P of E comma P of E bar less than or equal to 1. So for any event of a random experiment, the probability is at least 0 and at maximum it is 1. Can never exceed 1, right? Now let us discuss the axioms of the probability. There are 3 axioms of the probability. There are 3 axioms of the probability. First one is called as the axiom of positivity. The second one is the axiom of certainty. The third one is the axiom of union. Okay, these 3 are called as the axioms of the probability. The first one, let us see. The axiom of positivity means the probability of any event of a random experiment is always greater than or equal to 0. This is called as the axiom of positivity. The axiom of certainty means the probability of E bar plus the probability of E is always equal to 1. Right? The axiom of union means the probability of E1 union E2 is always equal to the probability of E1 plus the probability of E2 if E1 and E2 are mutually exclusive and equally likely events. These are mutually exclusive and equally likely events. These 3 are known as the axioms of the probability. We come across the usage of all these when we solve the questions from the concept of probability. Right? Now let us move on our discussion to problem solving. Let us consider one of the problems based on the probability and see how the problem can be solved. In a leap year, what is the probability of having 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays? That is our question. So what is our question? What is the probability of having 52 Sundays and 52 Mondays, 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays in a leap year. In a leap year. This is our question. Right? Let us solve it. As we all know, in a leap year, how many days we have? 366 days. So we have total 366 days in a leap year. So how many weeks we'll have? It is, as per week we have 7 days. It is 366 by 7 equal to 52 weeks plus 2 days. Right? And these extra 2 days, will have the different possible cases. These extra 2 days may be either Sunday-Monday combination, Monday-Tuesday combination, Tuesday-Wednesday combination, Wednesday-Thursday combination, Thursday-Friday combination, Friday-Saturday combination, or Saturday-Sunday combination. So what we are saying, in a leap year, as we have total 366 days, when divided by 7, because per week we have 7 days, we are getting 52 weeks plus 2 days. And in 52 weeks, we'll have 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays. No doubt in that. And we are now seeing what happens to these extra 2 days. These extra 2 days, the possibility for the extra 2 days is, they may be either Sunday, Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. How many possibilities are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have total 7 possible cases. Out of the total 7 possible cases, because we need only 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays, we have 2 favorable cases with Sunday. Sunday, in Sunday Monday case, Saturday Sunday case. Because we need only 52 Mondays, we should exclude this Sunday Monday case and have to count this Saturday Sunday, where Sunday is again counted. Total 52 plus 1 will have 53 Sundays, and already 52 Mondays are there. Because M is equal to 1, for the 53rd day to be the Sunday, we have M is equal to 1 and total 7 possible cases. The probability of the event E of having 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays. So what is our E event here? It is the probability, it is the event with the 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays. So the probability of that E is now M by N. It is 1 by 7. Right? Am I clear? So in the problem, we have to find in a leap year what is the probability of having 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays. Okay. Already in the leap year we have 52 weeks. So 52 Mondays satisfied. And we are looking at the possible cases of the last 2 days. And out of the possible cases of having the 2 days, we have only one case wherein we have Saturday, Sunday. Sunday can be counted along with 52 Sundays. Total become 53. So M is 1. Favorable to 53 Sundays, only one favorable case is there. And N equal to 7. Total possible cases for the extra 2 days in the leap year. So total, now the required probability of the event, if event is the event of having 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays, we have M by N, which is 1 by 7. Right? Suppose we have the similar other problem to find the probability of having 53 Tuesdays in the leap year. Then how to calculate? We need to calculate 53 Tuesdays in a leap year. Our problem is to get the probability of 53 Tuesdays in a leap year. So again, we have to look at the same situations. We divide the year days into weeks. We get total 52 weeks and 2 days. For extra 2 days, we have 7 possibilities, so N equal to 7. Because we need to have 53 Tuesdays, already 52 weeks have 52 Tuesdays, and in the extra 2 days, we need to have 1 Tuesday, only 1 Tuesday. So if the event is to have 53 Tuesdays, the favorable cases among the possible cases is only Monday, Tuesday. Only Monday, Tuesday. Also we have Tuesday, Wednesday. We have 2 possible cases out of the 7 cases. So if the event is to have 53 Tuesdays, either this is the possible case or this is. So total 2 possible cases, N equal to 2. And already because N equal to 7, we have the probability of the event to have in the leap year 53 Tuesdays is M by N, which is 2 by 7. Right? So did you understand the problem? I have explained you 2 problems. This is about the probability of having 53 Tuesdays in the leap year, and the previous one is to find the probability of having 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays in the leap year. Similarly, we can solve any number of problems based on the axioms of probability or the additional and multiplication theorems of the probability, which we discuss in next classes. Thank you.